Good morning. This is the Signature Approach to Sell Home podcast, and today's topic is blue in the face. So you've decided it was time to move and sell your house, but you don't know who to trust, what to trust, where to start, and what to do. My name is Eric Auger. I've been a real estate agent for 18 years now with Urban Nest Realty, and I'm about to share with you 4 principles that are the complete opposite of what any other real estate agent has ever told you, and that helps people just like you sell their house for the maximum possible price, quickly, without wasting money, and with no stress at all. Welcome to the Signature Approach to Sell Home podcast. Good morning. So today, a little bit of a story about yesterday. Last night, Yvette and I, we had our traditional get-together in the backyard where we eat cheese and bread and drink wine, you know, like we do in France. And last night we kind of stayed out a little bit longer than we normally do, and we had a little bit more wine than we normally drink because our daughter was having a show for us. She was showing us everything she's been learning in gymnastics and ballet, and she's even learned to do the moonwalk. So that was a lot of fun, and we ended up staying a little bit later than we normally do. So I went to bed later. Went to bed as usual. I fell asleep in 5 minutes, and in the middle of the night got woken up by the TV. Yvette was watching a movie, and there was like tires screeching, people screaming, and bullets flying. That woke me up, so much so that I went into the other room to finish my night. And it took me a little bit of time to find sleep again. I guess my pattern was interrupted. I eventually fell asleep, and at 4:30 my alarm clock went on like it always does. And something that hasn't happened in literally months happened. I just could not open my eyes. I could not get out of bed. So I pressed the snooze button, stayed in bed longer, pressed the snooze button. The third time, I finally woke up, dragged myself down to the kitchen to have a coffee, turned the TV on, started drinking my coffee, and fell asleep on the couch to wake up at like about 6:45. I'm normally at the gym at 6. My initial thought was, oh crap, my routine is completely screwed up. I'm just not going to perform today, and I'm just going to skip what I normally do. Every morning I go to the gym, I meditate, I read, and I write, and so on. And my initial thought was like, well, it's too late. My day's messed up. I'm just going to skip, and I'm just going to pretend that it's not important. But then a second thought came to my mind and said, you know, it really doesn't matter what time I wake up, what time I start. That routine is really, really important because this is what sets me up for the rest of the day. So I decided to put my shoes on, my shorts on, and instead of going to the gym for an hour, I figured, you know what, if I can just have 2 miles running today and come back, at least I've done my exercise for the day, and I can continue with my routine and be at my best for the rest of the day. So put my shoes on, shorts on, headset on, started listening to a couple of podcasts, and went outside and started running. And I usually do a loop that's about, I'd say, just about 2 miles. The first half of that loop is pretty easy. It's flat, and sometimes it goes down a little bit, so I consider it a warm-up. But the second half is a real beach because it goes up for about a mile, and it goes up, I think, right around 300 feet. So it's pretty tough. So here I am running, you know, pacing, getting down to the first half, and I'm starting the incline. And as I start the incline, I see this guy, young guy, probably about like 20, 21, on his BMX bikes, you know, running. And I'm running, and I'm catching up with him. And I see him looking at me, and he didn't like the fact that I was catching up with him. So out of the blue, he went all out and started like pedaling like crazy, like going up the hill so fast that he kind of disappeared. I couldn't see him anymore. I didn't give it much thought, and I kept on going with my run. And after like 5 minutes, I started seeing him again. And as I was running, I was catching up with him, and I was like, oh man, I'm going to show you what a 47-year-old man can do. And so I accelerated my pace just a little bit while he was getting off his bicycle completely out of breath and pushing it. And so I was running, and I ended up passing the guy and waving at him and continuing running. The point of that story is that what's more important is not the race itself or the challenge itself, it's the preparation that you put into it. What that guy didn't know is that I've been running 2 to 3 miles every morning, rain or shine, And I've been for about two and a half years. So I've been training a lot. And as a result, I had more endurance than him. He went all out crazy. Instead of me going crazy, I just continued my pace. On my pace, I accelerated a little bit and ended up passing him. The lesson of that story is that you win in the preparation, not the race. And it's very much the same when you sell a house. You know, if you think of putting your house on the market as a race, when you put it on the market, the person who wins is the person who sells it first and for the most money possible. So when you start the race, it's very important to know where you are and who you are. Are you the underdog? Are you the guy who's never trained or barely trained? Or are you the front runner? Or are you somewhere in the middle? It's very, very important to know where you start, because depending on your level of fitness, in other words, the preparation in your house, you're not going to run the same race. And if you are not the front runner, then you need to put in the preparation to make sure that your house becomes the front runner, so that you don't end up being the guy on the bicycle, out of breath, being passed on by the neighbor selling his house for more than you and before you, waving at you as he passes by. So the lesson is prepare your house for sale. When your house goes on the market, it is no longer your house. It is a product. And the more you prepare it, the better you prepare it, the faster it will sell and for the most money, because that first 15 days to 3 weeks is prime time. This is when you're going to have the most buyers come in looking at your house. And if you're prepared to impress them, then your house will sell for more money and before. And this is exactly what we do with the signature approach to sell homes. Is one of the steps is the preparation. So if you want to find out more, here is all the information. Here's how to find out about how to get a hold of me. My friend, what you just listened to is the Signature Approach to Sell Homes podcast. If you're thinking about selling your home, you can get instant access to a free 4-part video series revealing how to get top dollar for your house without worrying about long waits, price reductions, and unreasonable buyers, even in the worst buyer's market possible. You'll discover how shooting from the hip and not knowing who to trust is ultimately creating chaos during the sale of any house, and how people just like you are using these 4 simple strategies to ultimately sell their house quickly for top dollar and without worrying about making mistakes or losing profits. Go to thesignatureapproach.com now.